Dr. Peter Romine, electrical engineering professor at Navajo Tech University. I've been here finishing up 3 years. So yeah, I'm the PI of the Pathways grant, the NSF Cup project called Pathways to STEM Careers. And the original concept of the grant was to create a pipeline down to the high schools to attract students into STEM degree programs and ultimately STEM careers. And so the idea was to use the dual credit system that NTU has been involved in pretty heavily, and to offer courses that would lead to a pre-engineering certificate. And then in order to be able to address essentially the entire reservation, to deliver these using the internet and e-learning.
Hi, my name is Kirsch Davis. I go to school at Navajo Technical University, and as of now I'm a junior. I'll be graduating next spring, 2018, majoring in electrical engineering. Gained a lot of knowledge, things I need to know to become an electrical engineer. I never knew that I would pursue starting a business here at NTU, but one thing that has driven me is pursuing my BS degree.
Yade she ya hands tabaha yin she tsna generational tkanizani bashichin sanjikine shiche destination nala alay da balak aidanshin da shogande atsentlış benaldishigi velkhagi kwa Navajo Tech. My name is Hanson Tabaha. I'm from Balak, Arizona. I'm studying the electrical engineering here at NTU.
Saw a huge problem with no jobs and no modern economy on the reservation or even around the reservation. Well, I am a bleeding heart, but it's a case of, well, I would say, even deeper since I've been here is the issue of self-determination. Once I learned that we had no access to state money, the state wasn't responsible for funding education on the reservation. The federal government had very limited support for education, that we needed to be able to create our own opportunities and be in charge of our own opportunities and create an economy that was independent of state funding and federal funding. The other aspect of it was, if we're going to have a path to STEM careers, then we need to have careers at the end of that path. And so that's why it became obvious that if we can't create a reason why students should care, and parents should care, and high schools should care, then nobody, there's no good reason to expect students to pursue this and persist in this, especially if they always are going to have to relocate and move away to take those jobs. If we can create this economy, then it will create a revenue stream to support the university and to employ ultimately everybody that wants a job should be employable on the reservation without having to leave and move away. I knew from personal experience solutions for that, and one of those was to create engineering businesses or technology businesses, and I knew that the curriculum, the electrical engineering curriculum that I was teaching, and especially combined with the facilities here in the Fab Lab, that we already had all the pieces we needed to be successful in that, but that we just needed to get students to start creating businesses.
Well, I first started thinking about a business last year, spring of 2016, when I did my first project in developing a drone here at the fabrication lab here at NTU. This consisted of manufacturing my own parts using a Mark IV printer. The unmanned aerial drone was my first project, as mentioned, and this has driven me to actually develop more drones, to actually build and manufacture them myself. I want to actually use this as a research tool, applying drones, creating my own maps, taking aerial views, pictures, and actually going into mine shafts, perhaps doing uranium mining studies, uranium levels, and so forth.
One of the things that I wanted to start a small business, and it was basically about a few years ago, while I was working for a contractor in Gallup, New Mexico. Basically, just watching what they were doing, and kind of thought to myself at the time, it's pretty easy to do something like that. His business really grew in the time that I was there, and I think it's due to the fact that he was very diligent and he was very smart, is what I could say. Giving me the opportunity that he did, and to work with him and to witness that kind of thing, and I like to give credit to him for doing that.
So part of this is also my own desire to do that, to after all these years, to actually start putting some of that into practice myself. But I would say it's sort of easier for me to push the students to do this first. And so actually the students are ahead of me now. I mean, they've actually created corporations, they've got tax ID numbers, they've got registered domain names and business cards, and so they're way ahead of me. But I know that this is something that we can continue to develop, and it can impact the entire university. We want to build a network of entrepreneurs on the reservation, but also across the state and the region and so on.
I feel pretty confident in my business because of my 4 previous internships with developing drones. I had actually 2 projects with unmanned aerial systems and drone development and fabrication of parts. So with this project I had last year has also helped me to pursue my dreams of having my own business.
I believe that my engineering background is also the reason why I've been wanting to do this and finding out a lot about this stuff, is because one of the traits of an engineer is to actually find out how things work, and so that's one of the reasons why I find this type of situation interesting for me.
And I became familiar with the fact that NTU had programs to create companies, but we were not able to really get much out of that. And so we actually, through attending a maker fair in Albuquerque, we met a young entrepreneur that we had time to talk with, and he explained how he became a businessman, and so then I asked him if he would help us, and so he helped Hanson with how to file his LLC paperwork and then how to file for his tax ID. So all those things that are just the steps of making a business. This young man helped us with, and then once Hanson had done it, then he was able to show Kirsch how to do it. And so I just think that's a very healthy way for this to operate. Rather than attending a bunch of boring workshops where a bunch of people are sort of talking down to you to say this is what you're supposed to do, actually having a person that is a successful businessman actually helping and guiding you. But the fact that we have a lot of programs on campus that prepare people to work in business, but they don't teach people how to create business, and that to me is totally missing from the university.
I met Dr. Romine, and he started talking about starting a business, and I was kind of interested, and he was pretty persistent about it. We were at a maker fair in Albuquerque in the fall, and I met a gentleman there. His name is Jacob, and we basically exchanged emails, and he said that he had a similar story, but he was from Europe. He started Arts English in last fall of 2016. Arts English is basically an anglicized word for lightning, which in Navajo is Arts English. He walked through the whole thing of starting an LLC, actually getting my EIN number, and setting me up with the New Mexico Tax and Revenue. And he basically told me how to report back quarterly too as well. So his advice is really it's priceless, I guess. It was very helpful. And I believe there's a lot of people out there that are willing to do the same thing as well.
When creating my first business, which was actually began in November 2016, which I did my entrepreneurship startup with the LLC, registered as Kirsch Davis LLC. I had my mentor, Dr. Romain, who is also my instructor here at Navajo Technical University, help me out, along with Hanson Tapaha, my fellow colleague. With this, it just has drove me more to actually pursue my business. I know that I'm capable of being successful in life with this business. In my past, I've had 4 NASA internships throughout the United States, and as a student engineer, this has developed my interest to grow more. With my Kirsch Davis LLC, I plan to, as mentioned, develop drones to use this as a research tool. With this research tool, I could do many applications, such as making aerial maps, taking aerial views, doing different types of studies with different sensors, such as uranium mine studies, uranium mine levels. With my business, plan targets for when I'm successful is to actually get government contracting, and from there. But right now, I want to start off small with actually developing drones and trying to get small contracts as I go.
Growing up, I attended math and science camp at my mom's work, and that really helped me to learn math really, really well. All the techniques that all the professors taught us there, it was really, really good, and it stuck with me. And I believe that's what really, really helped me. And myself, my sister, and a few of my cousins, we attended this summer camp, and all of us actually are the ones who kind of made it to college. All my other cousins, they didn't really, so I believe that the summer camps would be really, really beneficial to the younger generation. It will open their eyes, and it will just help them for the future. So if I was to open up my own metrology lab, then my focus would be the younger generation. I would like to possibly have maybe like a short summer camp for the children of all ages. We could have like a week for maybe like elementary students, and then a week for junior high students, and then a week for, it would be the different grades, not just the whole entire school. As far as metrology, they would learn how important it is to measure, do all these measurements and stuff like that. So that's one of the great things that I would like to focus on now.
For future students, doesn't matter what major they are pursuing, but I would recommend that you get as much experience as possible. And with this experience, you can develop your own business, such as I did, or you could go elsewhere and work for different corporations, different national laboratories, and so forth. The knowledge I gained through working with NASA has taught me a lot and has brought my confidence boost to where I'm at now.
The only advice I would have for NTU students that want to start their own business is to be very persistent and learn a lot about what you're going to do, and that way you can make a better educated guess on what you want your business to go to, because if you're not informed about the decisions that you're making, and then you find yourself in a hole sometimes.
With NTU staff helping students develop their own business, I recommend that you push them to do this. It's hard, I guess, to take advice with the Navajo culture, being hard-headed and all. So I think just pushing them to actually do something different would be, I guess, would help them, throughout their whole lifetime.
My advice for the Navajo Tech faculty and staff is, it's pretty easy to get to talk to a student and to help them guide, the ones that really want to do it, are really interested in it. But some people you can only push them so far before they can actually do something for themselves. I would be one of those people. It's just, Dr. Romine had pushed me so far until I actually did something, and so like I said before, him and Jacob have actually helped me out a lot too, and I consider them both my professors as well, as I've been listening to both of them.
Well, my thinking would be to have initially just one class that could teach, creating a business 101, and it should talk about just the nuts and bolts of how do you start a business, which is, it's all, you do most of it on the internet now. You don't need a lawyer to do this. You don't have to pay a lot of money. There's just the filing fees, that you pay, and then, but there are the issues of taxes and all that, and so we have programs on campus that I know are for personal taxes, but I don't think they say deal in corporate taxes, probably, because there's really no reason to, right? So, but I think and it's one of those things where I would plan to make that an elective for engineering students, for my engineering students. Ultimately, probably making it a required course.
I usually don't talk about my family when I'm doing business and things like that, because I try to keep, in my mind, I try to keep them both separate. But without their support, I wouldn't have gone this far. And without especially my children and my wife, the reason why that I started this in the first place as well. And Dr. Romine and Jacob have made that decision a lot more easier. At the end of the day, I did try to do this for my kids, and for them to understand that if I can do something like this, they could in the future be doing something like that as well. So, and for my wife too as well, and just to let her know that that while I'm in school, I can also take care of her as well.
As of now, I really have no worries. There's really nothing for me to lose right now. I'm a student, and I'm just gonna go with it and pursue my dreams with my business.